Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tesla stock today is up almost 1%, and there is a clear outperformance between, high beta versus non-high beta. You can see the Russell is up 1/3 of 1%. The S&P is actually down almost 1/3 of 1%. So Tesla is really outperforming the S&P today. Here in this video, we will go over all of your Tesla stock breaking news. There is actually quite a bit of it that you need to know, okay? There's a lot of headlines as well that are important. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and check out that link down below in the description of this video for the trading community. But more on that in just a few moments. Let's get into today's episode. And as always, let's start with your Tesla stock breaking news. You can see here Tesla has confirmed that the third-party logistics ICE semi-truck caught fire first, not the Teslas. The driver is okay. You could see this carrier semi with a bunch of Teslas on fire and destroying most of these, if not all of these vehicles. Ex-Waymo CEO John Kafkic on Tesla's robotaxi says, quote, "Please let me know when Tesla launches a robotaxi. I'm still waiting. It's rather obviously not a robotaxi if there's an employee inside the car." In 2019, Waymo first began with what it called an early rider program in Arizona, allowing a select group of people to try the company's service. Safety drivers were present in the cars, and riders were temporarily put under a non-disclosure agreement. So, kind of starting off the same way. The difference with Tesla is the scalability of the software itself. And honestly, he sounds like he's a little nervous that Tesla is going to, beat Waymo. That's what I get out of this. Elon Musk responds to this and says they will switch from claiming that Tesla's self-driving is fake to Tesla self-driving is unfairly good. And according to new data from IIHS, the Tesla Model 3 and Model Y are the least likely vehicles to be stolen. EVs in general are 85% less likely to be stolen than the industry average. The Model 3 at number 1, the Model Y at number 2, the Model 3 rear-wheel drive at number 3, and then the Toyota RAV4 Prime at 5, and then the Tesla Model S all-wheel drive at 5, and then Model X, not listed here, but I imagine it's not a very stolen vehicle, if I were to say, which is wild because the average is 100 here, and Tesla, the Model 3 is at 1, the Model Y is at 2, the Model 3 rear-wheel drive is at 2, the Model S is at 5. You could see like a Camaro is at 3,949. Acura is at 2,138. GMC Sierra, 1,000. Okay. Chevy Silverado at 662. Tesla definitely has an advantage there and not getting stolen. Tesla has also introduced a new feedback feature. You can report FSD issues such as mapping issues, service-related feedback, robotaxi supercharging, delivery, etc. And here is the link to send feedback, okay? The feedback will route to the respective teams and track for closure, internal and with the customer. So a better way to get your issues resolved, and honestly, to help Tesla improve. And it says here, within the next month, Tesla will introduce a forum where Tesla owners can submit and upvote general feature request. This is much different than how many other companies operate, where they don't take a lot of customer feedback. And after all, isn't that where you would want most of your feedback coming from? The people that actually use the vehicles? Now, Uber users in Atlanta are canceling rides with human drivers until they match with one of Waymo's self-driving cars, which, again, as I've talked to people, honestly, I've never used an Uber, but if I were to, or when I do, I should say, I would much prefer a driverless car versus somebody in the front seat. Like, if I don't want to talk, I don't have to. And I don't want it to be like awkward. I don't know how, if you guys would agree with that, but that is even my general opinion at this moment. And that's the opinion that I get from a lot of people. Waymo says that the company's self-driving car fleet in Atlanta will grow to hundreds over the next few years. And again, only hundreds? Tesla is going to be able to scale way faster than that. Now, Australia's biggest gas advocates are quietly swapping out gas peaker plants for big batteries. Two of the country's biggest battery projects announced recently are both to be built on sites previously earmarked for gas turbines and peaking plants. And here we can see yet again a ton of Model Y L vehicles that have been spotted around China in the last couple of days. Something is definitely about to happen. Yes, deliveries are about to start of the Model Y L in China. I wouldn't be surprised when that news comes out for Tesla stock to rally on that. And here you can see Tesla China has released a new teaser video of the upcoming Model Y L that says, quote unquote, coming soon. So something big is indeed coming soon. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's within the next couple of weeks. Maybe like week or two or days even. I mean, we're starting to see Model Y Ls being transported everywhere in China. And here we can see some of the Tesla Model Y L features. There's a back headliner, or first for the Model Y variant, redesigned front seats that are more comfortable and have adjustable headrest, armrest and cup holders in the third row, adjustable front seat leg rest support, 6-seat configuration, second row captain chairs with powered armrest, 4 additional air vents on pillars, 2 for the second row and 2 for the third row passengers. Second and third row seats are all power foldable with a large spoiler. And obviously, like just updated features in general in addition to this. And as Sawyer Merritt writes here on X, he says the new Model Y L is going to be a hit. I think so as well. I mean, we talk about people not having kids all the time, but for people that do have extended, family household dynamics, having this third row, being able to get that 1 or 2 additional, passenger in makes a big difference. Now, it says here, Tesla Model Y L to soon launch in China. It says deliveries begin in March, but from what we're seeing, it could be sooner than that. In option activity today in Tesla stock, it's definitely a slower day from institutions and hedge funds. You have 46 different trades today totaling $19.14 million with a positive order value of 53%. Volume at about 60% calls and 40% puts. Some big trades here are noteworthy. You have a June 17, 2026 $960 call on Tesla. That's more than a triple from here. That trade worth $285,000. A December 17, 2026 $800 call worth $268,000. Here you can see an October 16th 420 call. That's literally like 2 months from now for $164,000. A November 20th 470 call worth $100,000. An October 16th 405 call worth $158,000. And this really follows the recent trend of short sellers covering on short positions. Now, so far, the data is not finalized. You do have about 1 million shares that are being on net sold short today, but these numbers are looking pretty good. Okay, short interest has been falling for a while now. Okay, now at 2.64%, $23.68 billion sold short in Tesla, totaling 71.61 million shares, and shares out on loan is down a lot as well within the last 3 months, now down to 15.82, and that's actually an uptick from the 12.94 million number that we had just last week or so. I think what happened today, though, because it does look like the shares out on loan went up about 3 million, I think there was a lot of shorting and shares being put out on loan for Friday with some of the hedging that took place, with some of the volatility that Wall Street was expecting over this weekend with the Trump and Putin meeting. If that were to go bad, we were looking at maybe a 30% tariff on China this morning. That obviously did not happen. So I do expect a lot of these shares out on loan are going to be returned. And it wouldn't surprise me if part of the move higher today has to do with the de-risking of secondary tariffs on China. Okay, Trump said over this weekend that they're not thinking about doing any additional tariffs or retaliation against countries that purchase Russian oil. Okay, so I think just some of that, those shares being returned, shorts covering, etc., is likely contributing to Tesla stock going up today. Now, Goldman Sachs says today they expect the Fed to cut rates 3 times this year. Goldman Sachs was only at 1 cut previously. I believe they were at 0 cuts not long ago. They say in September, October, and December, citing weakening U.S. job growth. Analysts note job gains have slowed to about 30,000 per month, well below the 80,000 needed for full employment, and future revisions are likely negative. They see risks beyond trade and immigration, with catch-up hiring fading and growth in most industries near 0. While unemployment is stable, Goldman warns even slight labor softening is worrisome. A larger 50 basis point cut is possible, but would require a sharper rise in unemployment, which that would not be good, right? If the Fed needs to play some kind of catch-up game with rate cuts, like the economy is weakening too much, that's not going to be a good thing. Stocks would not react favorably to that. Now, China's foreign ministry and their foreign minister Wang Yi in India says China is ready to continue communication with India on issues with a positive attitude. If you guys don't know this, India and China are not very friendly, okay? They on a regular basis have conflicts at the border, like literally physical altercations. Not a lot of people like getting shot, but they fight at the border. Like literally fight, big brawls at the border between militaries, okay? They just don't like each other and really never have. So this is an interesting headline. Like, I just want to show you guys this if you've never seen it, because it's kind of wild, okay? Literally, China and India military literally fighting at the border. Like, with sticks and rocks. Wild. China's foreign ministry says China supports all efforts for a peaceful settlement of the Ukraine crisis. China's foreign ministry on Trump's meeting with Zelensky says, we expect all stakeholders will participate in peace talks for a lasting agreement accepted by all parties. Goldman Sachs says S&P 500 companies beat forecast this earnings season, with Q2 EPS up 11% versus 4% expected. About 60% beat estimates by wide margins, one of the strongest seasons on record. Firms offset tariffs by cutting costs, reshaping supply chains, and passing prices to consumers. While a weaker dollar boosted sales, analysts warn smaller companies may face more risks from slowing sales growths. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not already joined the trading community, this is the portfolio return year to date, up 78.82%. There's a link down below in the description of this video to come join that. What we are doing over there is going out, finding small cap stocks in the AI field with underappreciated values, okay? We're looking at stocks that are trading at a fraction of the other high flyer names, okay? Most of these are much better companies than BBAI or SoundHound or Upstart or some of the other more well-known names. There is one stock in here that I now have over $100,000 invested in that reports earnings this week that, honestly, I'm shocked that it is as low as it is. So come check it out. Link down below in the description of this video if you have not done so already. U.S. Ambassador to NATO Whitaker says a security guarantee to Ukraine would be a form of an alliance. Vice President J.D. Vance will attend the Trump-Zelensky meeting. Trump says we are going to lead a movement to get rid of mail-in ballots, which is probably long overdue at this point. Trump says U.S. states must do what federal government tells them. And the UK's Prime Minister's spokesman says Ukraine welcomes U.S. statement on Ukraine's security guarantees. UK's Prime Minister says the UK is ready to deploy a reinsurance force in Ukraine. Here's another interesting take on Jackson Hole. Jackson Hole is going to take place on Friday with a speech from Fed Jerome Powell. It says markets expect a 25 basis point rate cut in September, but analysts say Powell may avoid signaling easing in his Jackson Hole speech on Friday. Despite weak jobs data and political pressure, concerns over stagflation and rising inflation could give him reason to hold back, according to HSBC and Bank of America. This is one of those weird things, okay? Friday, we're going to hear from Powell. Is he going to pivot? Is he going to be more bullish? Is he going to signal he's ready to cut rates? We don't know. That's the question at this point, okay? That is what a lot of people are hoping for, but we don't necessarily need at this point because we have so many Fed governors that are already team rate cut. Like, doesn't matter? Probably not. And honestly, I think earnings are the big catalyst for this week. Starting off today in after hours, you have Palo Alto, Blink, some others. Tuesday pre-market, Home Depot, Xpeng, Medtronic. Tuesday and after hours, Toll Brothers, Lazy Boy. Wednesday pre-market, Target, Estee Lauder, Zim, TJX, Analog Devices, Baidu, Futu. Wednesday and after hours, Nordson, Kadi. Thursday pre-market, this is your big one, Walmart, okay? Walmart, again, if you guys don't know, back in 2007, like back mid-year 2007, over a year before you had the great financial crisis, Walmart came out and started warning of a weakening consumer, of things going bad. And people paid attention at the time, at least a little bit. Like, stocks sold off on that earnings from Walmart, like Walmart stock sold off, but they didn't put the correlation together between, oh crap, if Walmart has bad things to say and they're the largest retailer in the world, that's probably not a great sign for the economy. In fact, I would even say today, it's much more relevant because of how bad the government data statistics are. They're not good, okay? So if Walmart has good things to say, well, that's great. That's a good sign. If Walmart has bad things to say, that's a really bad sign, and that is a major red flag. Now, Thursday and after hours, you have Zoom, Workday, Intuit, and Ross that will report earnings. And then Friday pre-market, you have BJ's. Trump on Truth Social says he will sign an executive order to help bring honesty to the 2026 midterm elections. And U.S. birth rates hit an all-time low, CDC data has shown. This is one of the reasons I'm so bullish on AI and specifically humanoids. Like, there's no other way around it. With birth rates as low as they are globally, you're going to need robots, okay? There is literally no other way around that. 20, 30 years from now, the economy in the world would look a lot different if we did not have humanoids. You're going to need them to fill a lot of the positions. People just aren't going to want to work in the future. I mean, even, taking care of people as they get older is going to be huge. Just a huge market in general for humanoids. It's one reason why I'm all in on AI right now. AI is the biggest wave of technologies that's just going to continue for decades. Now, Morgan Stanley says AI could add $920 billion in annual gains to the S&P 500. Morgan Stanley estimates AI could deliver $920 billion in yearly net benefits to the S&P 500 firms, with long-term value creation of $13 to $16 trillion, about 25% of the market cap. Gains would come from the cost cuts and productivity, with the biggest boost in retail, real estate, transport, and healthcare. Tech, hardware, and semis would see smaller effects. While full adoption will take years, Morgan Stanley calls the AI investment outlook fundamentally bullish. And what's important to note is when new technologies come online, people tend to underestimate what they will do long term. So if Morgan Stanley says 13 to 16 trillion dollars in value creation, that's double that. That's probably what you're looking at. 26 to 36 trillion in value creation. Like, they're probably, even these estimates sound high, but they're probably way too low in reality. Now, India's Prime Minister Modi says he had a phone call with Russia's Putin. And Modi says that Putin shared insights on his meeting with Trump. Redfin reports that homes are selling at the slowest summer pace in a decade. Trump says they're having a big day at the White House. Let's see what the results will be, in reference to the meeting between Zelensky and other European heads of state. Trump says we've never had so many European leaders here at once. And Zelensky is meeting with U.S. Special Envoy to Ukraine Kellogg in Washington. Trump says, I am totally convinced that if Russia raised their hands and said, we give up, we concede, we surrender, we will give Ukraine and the great United States of America the most revered, respected, and powerful of all countries ever, Moscow and St. Petersburg, and everything surrounding them for 1,000 miles. The fake news media and their Democrat partners would say that this is a bad and humiliating day for Donald J. Trump, one of the worst days in the history of our country, but that's why they are the fake news and the badly failing radical left Democrats. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Honestly, I don't really know what that means. I honestly, I have no idea what that means. No clue. Zelensky, after meeting with Kellogg, says Ukraine is ready to work productively for peace. The UK weighs replacing a stamp duty with a new property tax. I'm not sure why that came in as breaking news on US newswires, but there you have it. And the US has made China-related changes to the sanctions list. Trump on Russia and Ukraine says he knows exactly what he's doing. Trump on Ukraine says he's only here to stop it, not prosecute further. So again, that's good in terms of retaliatory tariffs. It sounds like that's not even being thought of at this point. Trump says, I've settled 6 wars in 6 months, one of them a possible nuclear disaster, and yet I have to read and listen to the Wall Street Journal and many others who truly don't have a clue. Tell me everything that I am doing wrong on the Russia-Ukraine mess. That is sleepy Joe Biden's war, not mine. I'm only here to stop it, not prosecute it any further. It would have never happened if I was president. I know exactly what I'm doing. I don't need the advice of people who have been working on all of these conflicts for years and were never able to do a thing to stop them. They are stupid people with no common sense, intelligence, or understanding, and they only make the current Russia-Ukraine disaster more difficult to fix. Despite all of my lightweight and very jealous critics, I'll get it done. I always do. So, I mean, that sounds good. Zelensky says it would be impossible to give up territory to Russia. The White House has requested that Vladimir Zelensky wear a suit and tie during his Oval Office meeting with Donald Trump, according to reports. Hamas has accepted the latest Gaza ceasefire and hostage deal proposal. Trump says if everything goes well, we will have a trilateral meeting and can maybe end the war. Trump says we'll have a lasting peace. Trump says the war's going to end when it's going to end. I can't tell you. And Trump on security guarantees says we'll be involved. And on those security guarantees says we'll let you know later today. And even Zelensky says today that we need to stop the war. And Trump says he would not say it's the end of the road. Zelensky says, thank you, Trump, for your efforts. And Trump on a message to Ukraine says, quote unquote, we love them. The CNN Fear and Greed Index is creeping up a little bit today, now at 65. Previous close was at 64. Market momentum is greed, stock price strength is greed, stock price breadth is neutral. Put and call options, extreme greed, market volatility is neutral, safe haven demand is greed, and junk bond demand currently in greed. The most recent AI investor sentiment survey, as we've talked about before, shows bullish investors at 29.9%, neutral investors at 24.0%, and bearish investors at 46.2%. So people have gotten quite bearish in the last, couple of weeks. And that to me just sounds like further reason to see some upside. Now, the percent of stocks trading above their 50-day moving average at 57.19%. So still not this super euphoric market as a lot of people would say. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts on all of this information down below in the comment section. The S&P has now since turned green. The Russell is also up 0.5%, and Tesla up 1.4%. And that big stock that I have an investment in the trading community, up over 10% today, heading into earnings on Thursday. Check that out, link down below in the description of this video. If you would like to come join the trading community, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.